Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to all my embracers. You know what it is. It's Monday night, and this is Grace from Embrace the Grace. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter this weekend. I had a busy one. Not only was it Easter, but it was my son's 17th birthday. So that was really cool. But anyways, for anybody who doesn't know me or this is their first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming and showing for your support. And for all my every week embracers, thank you for the constant and consistent support. But I just want to let my newbies know that welcome to my channel. We're all about embracing the truth, your truth. This is definitely a safe place where we encourage growth and healing, and where it's okay to have those hard conversations, those necessary conversations. So we strive to have thought-provoking dialogues, but always with respect. Because not only are we here to learn, but we're also here to learn to become better versions of ourselves. So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. Now, without further ado, I am going to bring up my co-host every week with me, trying to help me muddle through these hard conversations that don't like to have, but we're happy to have them. Gary, thank you for coming once again. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing, Grace? And happy birthday
I'm good.
to your son.
To Jordan? Absolutely. I'll let him know. He's at work right now. I make sure he goes to work on Monday nights so I can have as less distractions as necessary. So tell the audience, tell our audience, because they come here to check you out too. Tell our audience who you are and where we can find you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gary D. I co-host here with Embrace the Grace on her amazing show. But I also, I'm president of Boardwalk Global Media. We're a podcast and multimedia entertainment company. We have a couple of shows that we do every week. The main show that we do is on Friday nights called The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, co-hosted by Gary D, myself, and our other co-host, Robin. And we talk about lots of great topics, and we have the real discussions, right?
Absolutely.
Also, I'm a owner of ESI Global Group, a boutique entertainment and consulting management company. I have an artist from Australia that probably some of you may be starting to see now. His name is Baba T. And his new song, Wish List, is getting around. And that's it. But I'm here to support Grace again in this on her show with this great topic that I think that a lot of people have been having issues with. And I think to some people it may be a little controversial, but this is a discussion we have to have.
And you know what, Gary? Of course, throughout doing my research, a lot of people think right away when we speak about emasculation, and I just want to do a quick disclaimer. This has absolutely nothing to do with the LGBTQ community, okay? Because after you guys are done watching us tonight, that you're going to learn that this is much bigger than that. This has been happening way before this movement. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there. And another disclaimer out there I want to put out is that I am not a licensed therapist or psychiatrist. I'm just an expert in life and in experience. And we're here, talking facts, talking statistics, and our opinions. And that's it. And if it doesn't apply, let it fly. So I gotta say what's up to my girl Grace. She's up in here embracing Grace already. Thank you Thank you for coming, my dear. I really do appreciate not only for your support, but for your consistent support. You know, a person can support you for one day and then you'll never see them again. But what matters is that consistent support. Even if you just come and you're in the comments, you're on the panel, I just really appreciate it. And I met you through another awesome content creator. So that even makes better because you support all of us. So again, sis, thank you for coming. And again, this is a heavy topic. And the topic is about how is the Black man being attacked on his masculinity. And of course, guys, this all came to me when I saw the cover of Ebony with Major, and then here comes the cover of Rihanna and her baby daddy. And school, call me old head, call me traditional. But I felt some type of way because I look deeper into things. Yes, people may say I'm overthinking, I'm over analytical, but you see, you got to stay woke. There are things out here that are blatantly right in front of our faces, and y'all are sleepwalking. You don't see the things that are happening around us because you're too busy with other frivolous shit. And by the time you look up and realize what's going on, it's going to be too late. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I can't force you to agree on my side. I can't make you, but I can sure as hell try to change your mindset so you can embrace these things that we're trying to show you and teach you to become better versions of yourself and look at things, because everything in life is about perception. It's how you perceive things. You know, me and Gary could be looking at the same painting and we could be totally looking at different things, but it's our perception. So Gary, before we go any further, what do you think about this topic, and do you think that it's necessary to be talked about?
Yeah, I think this is definitely a very important topic to be talked about because of what we have been seeing. As you said before, things are happening right in front of our eyes and we're not even realizing it. A lot of things has happened which is making it normal when it really isn't normal. And this isn't something that just started, you know, a year or two ago or 3 years ago or even 5 years ago. You know, as a Black man, I'm accustomed to Black men being alpha male, dominant leaders, in a masculine position. That's how I grew up. So now, you know, you're seeing these images that have been pushed through us through TV, movies of, you know, gradually emasculating Black men, if you want, from the, you know, starting with, you know, when we were small, I think you would remember an actor by the name of Flip Wilson, right? Flip Wilson had a show that he used to do, right? And he did a drag scene. He did a drag character, and I forgot the name of the character, but it just seems like in Hollywood, that's almost like the rite of passage for a Black man to dress up as a woman, right?
To demasculate them.
Right. So, and it seems like you know, you go on down the line with some of our major Black actors, they always have to be putting on a dress, right?
But you know
I don't know.
I got mad. Hold on, I got mad respect for David Chappelle. You know that's why he walked away from his show.
Well, I was just going to get into that. I was just going to get into that. And you know, one of the reasons why, you know, from Flip Wilson going all the way up to Dave Chappelle up until a couple years ago when he walked away from his huge Viacom, I think it was like $50 million deal, that was because he was doing a movie and they wanted him, and sort of at the last minute, the you know, one of the people on the movie set, or I guess the writers came in, hey, Dave, look, we got this great idea. We need, we're changing around the script a little bit. You got to wear a dress. Dave was like, get the fuck out my trailer, right? It's like, I'm not putting on a dress. So they send somebody else in, then they send another black guy, then they send the director in. He's like, no, get away from him. I'm not putting on a dress, right? And so he walked away from all of that because he even saw, why is it in order for a black man to get somewhere in Hollywood, you got to put on a dress, right? Either you got to put on a dress or you got to play some type of gay role, all right? So, and in that, as you see, and actually somebody on YouTube did an interesting video where they documented it. Look at all the black actors up until now and the roles that they had to do.
Ray, who was the actor that his agent warned him not to take that role, that it would kill his career? And it did. He wasn't, I don't remember who it was, but there was a black actor who was asked to do a compromising role, and his agent or his manager advised him not to do it, but because he was so young and hungry for work, he did it anyway. And then after that, he didn't get work after that. So it's like a setup. It's a double whammy. It's a double whammy. You're demasculating the black man, and then after demasculating him, you don't want to give him any more work.
Well, yeah, they take advantage of you. Whereas that, because a lot of new people that come into the entertainment business, so to speak, they want this is their chance, right? And they don't want to blow it. So there are people that I guess the powers that be, some of them, they use this to try to, I guess, manipulate black men. What's the guy? There's another comedian, not Orlando Anderson. What's the really outspoken one? It'll come back to me later. But
is it Cats?
No, not Cat. Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin was doing a movie.
Griffin, okay.
Yeah, Eddie Griffin, very outspoken. Eddie Griffin was doing a movie, and one of the guys on the movie set was like, he made a pass at him, and Eddie Griffin punched him in the face. Right? Eddie's like, yo, I don't do that shit.
That's crazy.
Right? So, and the guy was like, you'll never work in Hollywood again and stuff like that. So, so to our topic, the images of strong black men is very important, right? Masculine, at least in my opinion, right? So when you start seeing these black men, and look, all respect due to Tyler Perry and what he's done, but that Medea character, come on, he's in drag. You understand? You understand? Like, I don't want my, if I had kids.
I didn't even think about that character. It seems so natural to me.
This is what I'm saying. This is how they program it. He's in drag, right? The Medea characters. So it's very acceptable to us because it's funny and it's a character. But what about if your son say, hey, I want to dress up in drag? To me, that doesn't work for me. You understand? But that's not good. But
you just made me think of Mrs. Doubtfire.
This is what I'm saying, right? So these characters that these male actors are doing in Hollywood, dressing up in drag, it's sending a wrong signal. It's sending a bad signal, especially for the black actors. Look, what was that? The movie with Wesley Snipes and Patrick Swayze, Tu Wong Fu, all of them dressed up as women.
I mean, thank God they were able to overcome, but some actors can't. And Grace said, Cat spoke it. Go ahead.
But see, the problem is that why they got to do that role in the first place? That's what I have. That's the issue that I have.
And that's an awesome question, because we don't control enough of the media, Gary. Okay, did you know that Byron Allen and Tyler Perry right now are in a bidding war for
Yeah, yeah.
BET? We just don't have enough Black and melanated people that in full control. So to the rules and regulations, what they want them you're going to play this, you're going to do this, and you're going to do that, and most people agree to it because they need the money and they need the work, and two, they don't want to get blackballed.
Well, that's it.
But
I mean,
they
they
work in your favor or against your favor.
Well, yeah. I mean,
So
you
again,
gotta,
instead of
listen,
being no, go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
Look, what they do is they take advantage of these young actors, right? So, and in some cases, they'll let you get on, right, and do your thing. But then there's going to be a point in time where they'll come to you and say, okay, we need you. Here's a role that you got to do, or here's a role that you need to do. And your manager or your agent should be the one to be who. It's about your career, right? And you want to make sure, as a manager, you want to guide your artist in the right direction, right? So me as a manager, if I'm managing an actor, an actress, especially if it's a Black actor or actress, I want them to make the decisions that's going to put positive images of them out there.
Yeah, but
right.
Those kind of roles are very few and far between. Why is it that the Black guy or the Black woman dies right away at the beginning of the movie? Why is it that most Blacks have to play the maid or the thug, or you know what I'm saying? Like you said, nothing really positive. I'm not saying that there aren't, but I just think that there aren't enough of those. We're not given enough of those roles. Unless you own the movie, unless you're the director, unless you're like Tyler Perry or John Singleton or something like that.
Well, look, we've come a long way than 30, 40, 50 years ago, because now we have people like Tyler Perry and others who are literally billionaires who can build their own studio, have their own studio. We have more people that's on the Academy board, people of color that's on the Academy board, which does the Oscars. But still, right? But still, it's still important for us to have people in control. A lot of our people, and I will even say the right people in control. So these images of Black men, or the right images of Black men are coming out. Like there was
because they're the worst in the media, Gary. They already put the worst of the worst on the on the news. They picked the worst person to interview. Ain't nobody got time for that. But you couldn't pick the person that spoke or that was articulate and know how. It's like they do it on purpose. That's why sometimes I think people and police officers are really scared of Black and melanated people, because they're only used to seeing the vicious and savage side. But you don't see how you have a whole graduating class at Howard University of doctors. You don't see the Yale graduates. You don't see like you said, none of the positive things. All they want to do is put the negative shit out there in the media. And then one of these content creators brought up a good point. Even Tyler Perry, not even with the Medea character, but if you notice, all his movies have a theme. Every Black man treats the woman like shit. You know what I'm saying? Do you really have a Black man in a positive role doing something good? It's always about him cheating, or he's an alcoholic, or this. I never even realized that until somebody brought it to my attention, and then I went back to look at his movies, and I'm like, damn, you know, again, we're seeing things right in front of us, and we're still asleep. Let me get to the comments real quick, Gary, so I don't start drowning. It said, Kat spoke against all that nonsense and look at all the legal crap he's had to deal with. Yeah, because when you go against the norm, now you're considered a troublemaker. You know, it's helping the media portray Black men in a negative role and strive to keep control over some extremely strong leaders. It's demonizing and selling your soul to the devil. It's Illuminati, baby girl. So you have to understand. Well, that's a whole nother show. And then Grace said exactly. And you know what's got? I mean, Grace, I don't mean to make it a race, but from talking with her and interacting with her on different panels, Grace is completely white, and she's more in tune with the Black community than most Black people.
Oh, that's very true.
And that's crazy. You know, yes, a lot of people say I'm not Black, I'm not Black enough. But you know what? I go through a lot of the things that brown and melanated people go through. I still get followed in the store. You know, hurry up and buy. You know, can I help you? I've gotten pulled over just because I have a nice car for no reason. You know, my son has been harassed and asked, does he belong in this neighborhood? I mean, you don't have to be Gary's skin color to experience the things that Black and melanated people go through. And you remember the story I told you about I had to show my dad or cashing a check. So, you know, I've gone through this, maybe not at the level and severity as somebody like you, Gary, but I've gone through it and I've experienced it, and it's not cool. It really isn't. So for us to go out there and add to the misery that's happening to the Black and melanated community, it's man. We gotta.
Look. Now, so we're in an era where everything is visual, right? Everything is optics. So we have to make sure that these positive images are put out there. So, which comes to the Jonathan Majors cover on Ebony.
Here we go. Good smooth transition. So how did you feel when you, as a Black man in the entertainment world, because you're around this every day, Gary. You're in the music industry, you're around models, you're around actors. How did you feel when you saw that?
Well, first of all, I mean, I was definitely taken back. And the first thing is what the reason is I grew up on Ebony and Jet magazine, right?
Yeah.
Right. And never in my life growing up did they have a cover like that. So that was the first thing that
every Friday that Jet magazine would drop. I was there too. Right. I would get my Archie Bunker and my Jet magazine.
Yeah, Jet magazine and Ebony magazine was at the time owned by Johnson Publishing, which was a Black publishing company. So, but never in my life did they have a cover like that. So when I saw that cover, I was definitely taken back. And
why?
You know,
why were you? I gotta peel the onion. Why were you taken back?
I was, first of all, it looked like a gay magazine cover, right?
Okay.
It looked like
purposes.
Right. It looked like a gay magazine cover. And let me be clear, I don't have anything against gay people. I don't. I really don't. But you have Jonathan Majors, who is starring in
not one, not two, but 3 major films where he played the most alpha.
But this is what I'm saying. Like in Creed 3, like his character is very alpha male. Then you're gonna put him on that cover like that? No, like that.
Did you find something better to uplift him?
Yeah, this did. So I that just rubbed me the wrong way, because now it's not. So basically, they're appealing to a gay audience with that cover. That's basically what that shit is. Look how he's sitting. Look how he's dressed. Look at the color layout. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm like, yo, like, what in the entire fuck? So yeah, I wasn't happy, but I find it interesting though. The new owners of Ebony magazine is a interracial couple, a white man and a black woman. But the I think it was the senior writer, the senior editor for Ebony did an opt-ad, and basically she was defending the cover.
I read that last night. I read that.
She was defending the cover, and I'm like, and some of the shit that she says, I'm like, see, this is the bullshit.
We're overreacting, and what's really messed up, besides the slave masters back in the days, the number one guilty party of emasculating black men is the black woman.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
And that's not cool, because the black man should be able to turn to the black woman for support.
Absolutely.
But instead, they're getting the most pushback, the most unpeaceful situations. Uh-oh, we got Miss Cynthia Bell in the house. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. We come up here with no issues. Let me read this real quick. Grace said, a lot of times it's the environment we've grown up in and who you have chosen to be around majority of the time. You're right, because I remember growing up, my dad used to say, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. So, Miss Cynthia Bell, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. One-time deal. How are you this evening, my dear?
Yes.
So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us where we can find you. And now I need you to put in your 2 cents with the topic that we're talking about.
Hey, everybody. I'm Cynthia Bell. I'm author, playwright. I'm just glad to chime in tonight.
Thanks for coming. So what did you think of my little thumbnail? I'm talking about the attack of the black male masculinity. And you're a black woman, you're married to a black man, you have black children. So how did you feel? And you're in the entertainment business as well, so you have seen things come and go. How did you feel, or what do you think? Let's not use the word feel. What did you think about that magazine? There's 2 magazines covers. It's the one with Jonathan Majors, and then the one with Rihanna and her baby daddy, because she's not married, so that's who he is, her baby daddy. What did you get any type of, I don't know, tell me, what were you thinking when you saw those 2 magazine covers? Am I overreacting? Am I being too analytical? Am I overthinking things?
Well, actually, it just flew over my head. I have no comment. I have no comment.
Okay. Go ahead, Gary.
So great. So yeah, the person, sort of the person that works for Ebony magazine that wrote the op-ed, her name is Savannah Taylor, and one of the things that she wrote, right, was there is no agenda out there to emasculate black men. If anything, there's a mission to allow them to feel liberated enough from the shackles of the hegemonic masculinity, the dictation of the dictation that governs how a man should act in society based on outdated rules, to embrace whatever sexual expression feels best for them. That's some bullshit. Like, that's some feminist bullshit.
Because clearly when I heard her use the word embrace, I didn't even bring it up. I'm like, nah, I'm not embracing that. I'm not.
Clearly, she hasn't read or doesn't know about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Because if she would have read Dr. Frances Cress's work, and rest in peace to Dr. Cress, if she would have read and studied her work, Dr. Frances Cress, she called this shit, she predicted this shit like almost 30 years ago. Right? She called it.
She did, because when you send me that link and I started doing my research, now I want to get her book. because I wanted
Oh,
to
she got
hear
amazing.
it.
She has amazing. Like, trust me. You get her book, get her videos. Dr. Cress has amazing work. She has amazing work. But my point
So
being,
mhm.
okay, no, go. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me introduce Grace. Hi, Grace. How are you?
Hi, darling.
I know
Sorry,
you don't have a
my
channel.
cat's saying hi too.
Okay, tell Kitty I said hey. I know you don't have a channel yet, but you should. But you do enough work on all of our
I actually have
channels.
about I actually started one. It's a different take. I really just walk out my walk in Christ on it. Really, I don't really try to touch the dating scene or any kind of topics like that. If Jesus didn't touch on it, I ain't got no business messing with it on my channel.
Well,
Now, I'll
and
grace your
I'm
page
glad you
just
said
because
that.
why not? But
But you see, and that's funny that you say that, Grace, because while I was at hair and makeup, besides I'm hair and makeup, but I was thinking about there's just so many things that we just don't include God in anymore. And that's why everything is going to shit. And I'm not trying to be religious or make this into a religious show.
Walking in Christ, okay, from before to now, like I used to have that mentality that I'm gonna just say it, boss bitch mentality. I got this. My ex was, still is the crappiest person on the planet. Tried to kill me a few times. I think it took the 5th time for me to go, I feel like this might not be a safe situation for me anymore. And I left. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm a slow learner, Grace. I'm a slow learner.
Well, let me ask you something. Did you guys have kids?
4 of them.
See, a lot of people don't understand that,
I was
when
looking
there's
for
kids
17
involved,
years.
it's much harder.
Yeah.
It's
and
much
it was
harder
just
to walk away.
One of those I kept blaming the drug when I found out he was on drugs because I didn't know nothing about that life. So I was like, it's got to be the drugs. If he would just quit doing the drugs, we'd be cool. But no, no. But anyway, so I went through that for 17 years, and then I had this span of 6 years where it was he messed my head up. I'm gonna tell you what, he messed my head up. Mentally, physically, every kind of way. And I didn't know how to work it. I was not a good mother. I wasn't a good person, period. And so I left my kids with my family, and I went and tried to make it all better myself with every kind of drug. You know what I mean? So I've been clean for 3 years, but it was God who cleaned me up and God who kept me there. And in walking in the Word, that's where I see my fault back then in the faultiness of my mind, in the way that I thought. The way I thought about men, I'd seen this one man do this thing, and so all men must have been like him. I have 4 brothers that are godly men, but my mindset was all men have to be just like this one, and they're all going to treat me this way. It didn't make any sense. And so, at some point you got to see what the world is doing. You have to have discernment and see when it's the world attacking, when it's the prince of the air, the prince of this world at work. And right now the media is trying every kind of way to portray. First it was, let's portray black men as a danger. And so literally every movie you watch, he was, like you were saying, the thug.
Or the maid. Or
I'll tell you,
I'm
talking about black men just in general. And I know, from the black men that I know, if I walked into a room full of white guys or walked into a room full of black guys, I would feel safer in the room full of black guys than I would the white guys, because of the respect difference. Black men will show that respect immediately. They don't wait for you to earn it. They will, they act accordingly to a woman stepping into a room. Okay. I know white guys that do not do that. Okay. I have felt very at unease and unsafe around white guys but I've not felt that way around black guys. And I know I've known some hardcore, I've known some thugs, but they would never hurt me. You know what I mean? It's just the mentality
I
that
hear
the
you.
media has thrown out there. And so, okay, either be afraid of them. And then now that we have social media where black men are able to speak and you get to know who they really are on a mass level, okay, well then, man, we can't really portray them as a threat anymore because people are catching on to that. So now we got to portray them as something feminine, weaker.
Okay, and with that being said, let me slide in and give you guys the definition of emasculating. It's depriving a man of his role as a man, to make someone, a man, weaker or less effective. It's practically belittling and degrading them, making them weaker, making them look weaker than they are. And when I saw that magazine, I'm like, how can this man who is playing in 3 movies, leading roles, such alpha males, portray himself on a magazine cover like this? Like, why would you even take that assignment? It's to me, and I'm gonna put it out there. I wasn't happy with it. It wasn't a good look for him, and I have yet to go see his movie, because how can I see you in Creed? And I know it's all acting or everything, but you over here doing this and being okay with that. It's like you're. I don't know what to believe. So now,
Well, it's like
let's
at
move
some point you have to deny the dollar and stand for your values. At some
But you
point,
see,
you
a
got
lot of that's what they do. They dangle the dollar like a carrot in front of you.
yeah.
Now let's move over to the other magazine cover. A lot of people saw it as empowering, and especially it was all the feminists. It was empowering. Rihanna, she's in the front, she's a billionaire, and here you got the man behind her holding the baby. She's got her hand out, like covering his man parts. You see, did I dissect out the picture? Yes, I did, because that's the point. You overlook things. If you see it for what it is and you dissect it, you're gonna be like, wow. And go ahead, Gary. What did you think of that cover?
Look at the cover. Look at the magazine cover. She was that was on Vogue, right? Right. That was on Vogue. So and Vogue is one of the top 5 magazines out there. So the optics and the optics of that to me is very quite disturbing, right? Because when you look, to some women, yeah, they thought it was empowering, right? But if you look at other magazine covers where it's a white couple, the white man is in the front, right? Now, not saying all black covers are like that Vogue cover, because Essence magazine has a cover with Cardi B and Offset and their kids, and it's a beautiful cover, right? It's a family cover, right? Where they're standing together with the children. So
exactly.
I believe
who was holding the baby in that picture?
Both. I think Offset was holding it. Both of them was holding kids, but it was a great cover, right? It was definitely a lot better than, in my opinion, it was a lot better than that Vogue cover, right? Because the Vogue cover, it's showing Rihanna's leading, or I should say, you have the black woman leading, the black man following, and and listen, there's nothing wrong with a black man being nurturing. Let me just get that clear, right? But the culture from where we come from, going back to Africa, there's a statue in Dakar, Senegal, right, where it's the black man, he's holding up the black baby, and a black woman is next to him, right? And people fly all over the world to go see that statue, right? And that's in Dakar, Senegal. So for Vogue to put that in, to put this image of Rihanna, ASAP Rocky, and their kid on the cover like that, you know, it's making him, you know, look less than. And I thought that
I'm
was,
looking at the photo.
yeah.
I know. Looking at the difference. I'm looking at the photo cover that you're saying with Essence. First of all, Cardi B and Offset are married. They're married. And they have 2 kids. Now you got Rihanna, who's a billionaire, beautiful, smart woman. She's just a baby mama. Now she's having a second kid, and you still ain't married. You see, you know, Cardi B talked a lot of shit. I don't cook, I don't clean, but I got the ring. But Offset recorded her. She was in a bonnet with fuzzy slippers, and she was sweeping the shit out of that kitchen. Look, I knew it was all bullshit because she's Dominican, and we're raised as little girls to cater to our men and to maintain the house. So as rich as Cardi B is, and as much shit that she talks to, she gonna take care of her man and sweep. And I mean, she might not do all the chores, but she does do things. It's just a different vibe that you get when you see the magazine cover with Cardi B and Offset versus Rihanna.
It's a beautiful family cover. It's a beautiful family cover, right? That completely.
Why Rihanna had to do it that way? I mean, Miss Bell, how did you see that album cover, and did you get anything out of it, or you didn't see anything wrong with it?
Well, when I saw, you know, she's the billionaire. And, you know, he has money too. But at the end of the day, beginning of the day, she is the forefront. She's got the money, and she's calling the shots, and the media loves it. The media loves it. But you have to look beyond that. And as Gary said before, earlier, is that, you know, the media doesn't care about emasculating men, our black men. And you know what? I don't even think they care, because it's about the dollar. It's about being in the limelight, being in the media. Because, I mean, like you said, I mean, Brianna is a baby mama. I don't care how rich she is. She still is the baby mama. She, like Cardi B, is the wife. Mm-hmm. There's a difference.
You're absolutely right. But you touched it on the head. Rihanna is the forefront. She's the billionaire, so she represent the independence woman. I don't need no man, and woo, 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 woo. But at the end of the day, you need your fucking car pushed and you run out of gas. Who's gonna push your car? It ain't gonna be no woman. Look, my niece today got stranded on the highway. It wasn't no woman that stopped to push her car. It was a man. She needs that man to help her take care of that baby. She can't, you know, but and the funny thing is that one of the main things that has started emasculating the black man is single mother. And it has started from way back. Hold on, guys. I just have to say hi to the gentlemen that have come in. And Mr. Hink, I am glad you came in here, because you are one of the most alpha males I know. And I know you got something to say about this. So if you want to come up on the panel, please do so. I was hoping you would chime in tonight. I know you had your show to do at 7, but I said, I hope he chimes in tonight, because he's as alpha as they come. And I want to hear, Gary, I already knew how you felt when you saw this, because we're friends. We've known each other for a while. But I want to hear from somebody else who am I looking at this? Am I tripping? You know, because sometimes I have to check myself and be like, am I being emotional? Am I being a girl? You know, am I overreacting?
Can I ask you a question?
You know, Go ahead.
I have a question. Because I don't look at a lot of I guess magazine covers unless they're brought to my attention. I'm sure Beyonce and Jay-Z have been on a few. Have they ever been kind of placed in this kind of limelight? Because, you know, Beyonce makes money.
No. They
so
actually no. And you asked a very good question, because the images.
That was a good question.
The images of Beyonce and Jay-Z is of a power couple together, right?
Right.
right? It's
That's
a
what I
power
thought.
couple,
I wasn't positive,
She
but
was
that's
already
what I
hot
thought.
shit.
right? No,
Beyonce was already hot shit. Jay-Z was hot shit. They and really built an empire for themselves. I mean, Jay-Z's a billionaire.
I mean,
He was the one that made the deal possible for Rihanna.
You can kind of almost read it before it hits. Who are they going to use to be like the main person that they put up there towards a feminist, you know, the little feminist movement and stuff? You know what I mean? Like, who are they picking out? Well, Beyonce's married to Jay-Z, so gosh darn it, we can't use her. You know, she actually went and got the ring and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know what I'm saying? But hey, here we have Rihanna. She's a baby mama. Let's blow that up. Let's make that a thing. Let's make that, you know, not the way that people see it now, because they're trying to get away from traditional mindset and traditional marriage and doing things the right way, you know. So if we highlight the wrong way and make it seem like the right way, if I'm not mistaken, the book of Isaiah says they will call evil good and good evil.
Well, you know, I look at
absolutely
Keke.
right.
I look at Keke Palmer. You know, listen, I don't judge anybody. I don't judge anybody, but she's a baby mama. Okay, from my understanding, for the article that I read, you know, her baby daddy, she's the controlling factor. She's the breadwinner. I mean, society right now, where we at right now, society, that's what they want. They want to see if a woman is making the money, she's out there, she's in the in the front. I don't even think the men, I don't think some of the black men don't even really care about it. I think it's all about
it's that boss B mentality.
I'm in the media. I'm with this woman. She's making money, so I really don't care. So it goes back to their own self-esteem. You know,
And
so
she was promoting. She was Miss Bell. She was promoting single motherhood. I mean, yes, she's not single, but if you're not married, you're considered single. Okay?
Yeah.
Because pretty soon, and I don't wish this upon anybody, but if they break up right now, again, she's nothing but a baby mama. And when she did her big announcement on the Saturday Night Live show, that shit wasn't cute. You know, and then she's telling young girls, you want to have, I don't know if you even saw this clip, because, you know, shout out to Mr. Let Go. This is his biggest pet peeve, is the single mother epidemic. And he's always bringing up clips about single mother epidemic. And he brought up the clip where she was, you girls want to get good skin, get yourself pregnant. Look at my skin. Da 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 da. I mean, that's what you're using your platform for. This is what I'm saying. A lot of us have an opportunity to do good in this world. A lot of us, you know, a lot of people ask me, well, why do you think you feel that you have to do this? Why do you have to be the one to say something? I said, well, first of all, I really feel like it's my calling and my purpose. I'm calling y'all asses out. I'm calling out bad behavior. Now, don't get me wrong. I pick and choose situations out there in the public eye because, you know, we live in a crazy world. But if we continue to allow bad behavior, then we're co-signing to the shit. We're agreeing with the shit. Instead of people calling 911 when somebody's getting beat up, you rather take your phone out and record.
Yeah, that's where we are right now. That's where we are right now, and it's
for
really
life.
sad.
Sad. It is, and I behavior, and I feel that it can make a difference. Yeah, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out. Why do I feel I have to do that? Because that's just something that's in me now. And that's why I created this YouTube channel, to have these conversations, to talk about it. You know, there's a lot of content you know, to a lot of people out here in these YouTube streets. But sometimes I hear people up here complaining about problems. Okay, do your complaining and put them there. But then I'm looking for solutions. To be part of the problem.
Well, you have a lot of people that like to complain, right? Like my grandfather used to say this. They like to complain, but they don't want to come up with solutions, right? You know, they feel better complaining, but to put the work in to do the solution, they don't want to do that. It's easier for them to complain.
You know, I was thinking about this whole because
Well,
I know you
took it upon
I know
myself.
I know you love Shalakemia just as much as I do, and she actually did a whole thing on that deleting. Yeah. So anyway, like, and I got to thinking
I
about
was the one that gave her that.
I figured as much. I figured you guys had a chat. And that's what I was thinking. Oh, Grace done had a chat with her. This done popped up on my feed. Yeah, but I was thinking about that.
I'm giving her smoke, Grace.
I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the because of the fact that I have a lot of black girlfriends, like they have brothers. I'm friends with them too. Every black man that I know in my life that's a friend of mine, they're problem solvers, you know, and so they'll sit there and they solve problems you don't even realize are there, or try to help lift you to a place. Like, and I don't know, you probably had this if you think about the black men that you know. So in other words, like, you get to know this guy, you're talking, and he like gets to know things about you that you don't realize, like things that you're good at, right? And then he'll start giving you ideas and supporting you, like, oh, you should do this. You're really good at this. Like, you could do this.
Absolutely.
Okay. Black men are like every black. I know a lot of guys of different races. It's the black men that come to me and they're like, you know, the whole reason I started just recording on my page, you know, my walk in Christ, is because my best friend who's a black man has told me, like, you know, God has given you wisdom that can benefit other women, and you really need to get that out there. You really need to teach and grow. And people don't know Jesus like you know Jesus, and they don't know the benefits of knowing Jesus like you do. Speak on it. Make sure people hear it. I would not have done that on my own. I wouldn't have thought that there was anything special about me that anybody else needed to hear, other than the fact that not one, but at least 4 different black men I know said the same thing, and they've been on my butt to do the same thing. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll just go on ahead and start doing these little shorts, and I throw them out there, and who's the first one to sub up to my page, and I see their name, each one of them, and they support me 100%. Girl, what you need, I got your back. Like, I'm talking, you couldn't find a better friend. Now, if I sit there and I take that problem solver and I make him look like he is nothing, if I make him look like he doesn't know what he's talking about, then you're not going to hear him. And so you're not going to listen to solve the problem. You're just going to keep complaining and nothing's going to get done.
Exactly. And that's a good point that you bring up, because with the emasculation, this is what happens when when a man, a black man, and I say black man because that's my target audience. You know, I have a black son, I have a black ex-husband. So
that's the media's target.
That part. What happens when a man feels emasculated? They feel essentially powerless. They feel both embarrassed and ashamed of himself as a man. And as a result, 2 things may happen. He may try to desperately either prove his masculinity or hide the fact that he perceives himself as lacking thereof. So, and a lot of men are not going to tell you that they're feeling emasculated. So we as women have to recognize the signs that we are emasculating our men. And when I went through this last night, Gary, when we talked, you know, because me and Gary are both night owls, and I always work the night before on my show so it can still be fresh on my brain. I'll start on a Saturday and start working on it. There's a lot of shit I was doing that I didn't know that can fit into the category of emasculating men. So you guys, I'm out here to tell you that I'm not perfect either. And I'm growing and learning as we all flying in this plane. You know, just 3 months ago, I didn't even have seatbelts on this plane. Now I got seatbelts and a mask. You know, every week it gets better and better. But
yeah, I like your little countdown, girl.
Thank you.
I like that.
And Miss Cynthia, just to touch on what Grace was saying, and I'm gonna start blowing some smoke on these YouTube streets. There's this black woman out here promoting deletion of black male babies.
Oh yeah, Miss Cynthia, I was talking about you. I'm sorry.
No. She knows.
I didn't even notice that.
The fact remains is, Miss Bell, that a lot of black men have been griping about this, but I haven't really seen any black woman blow smoke at her. So I contacted another African queen who is an advocate for black men, and she already did her little part on it. But I'm calling her out, and I'm going to mention her name on my show. And I want her to come talk to me, because how dare you? How dare you? You come from the loins of a black man. Okay, your mother is a black woman, and you out here promoting and comparing black male babies to cars. So go ahead.
But you know what, Grace? Listen, I'm one of these people. I'm a bottom line person. I've been on top of the earth long enough to say what the hell I feel and don't care what happens after it. You know what? A lot of men are emasculated when they were little boys. The mothers do it.
Absolutely, single motherhood.
Mothers, they have to learn how to validate their sons, because I have 3 brothers. Well, I have more than 3 brothers. I mean, it's 23 of us. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is that if a man, some of the fathers, it goes back to slavery. They emasculated the man when master went in there and took his wife, and he couldn't say nothing when he had sex with her. They were emasculated, and it's going on and on and on. But a man, what turns me on is a man that know who he is. If a man doesn't know who he is, you won't get nowhere with me. I don't give a flying thing what you got, what you drive, or what's in your bank account, because at the end of the day, however you feel about yourself, it's going to come out as to who you really are. But for as women, listen, if you think you're a dog, you're a freaking dog. The Bible says, whatever a man thinking is he, so whatever a man thinking in his heart, so is he. So if you've been told all the time that you were a dog, if you've been told all the time that you're not this and you're not that, so when you get to be a grown man, you meet a woman, okay, and because I have discernment. I can tell if a man got low self-esteem. I'm not the woman to be with, because I'm not her. You know what I'm saying? So right now, society, nobody cares. You care, Grace. I care. The young lady here may care, Gary may care, but society, they don't care. It's all about the Benjamins. It's all about I'm in the limelight. I'm this, I'm that. It doesn't matter that I'm standing behind the woman.
It's all about clout, money.
It don't matter.
But you don't think if we get enough of you, me, Gary, and Grace, and JVJ, and Mr. Let Go, and a couple good ones out there too, that a lot of little fists can make a powerful fist at the end of the day?
Look at the show that you're doing. It should be, the comments should be rolling. The comments should be rolling, because most women, they don't care about the black man being emasculated. If the man is doing mediocre stuff, okay, they don't care. They don't care, and the man don't care.
See, I would have to differ, because I think that there's where we're at in society. There's already the issues between black men and black women. Black men, we have enough that we're dealing with all already, and for those of us that's really in tune to what's going on, yes, there is, I guess if you want to call it, there is a push to put out these images and optics of emasculating a black man. There are a generation of young black men that grew up only with mothers, and you can't really raise a young black man in a single mother household, especially those single mothers that's all about talking down to her son, right? So clearly they're going to grow up feeling some kind of way, right? Now, not saying that there are good single mothers that do the best that they can and make sure that their son grows up the right way, but you get the others that's extremely toxic for their son. That mixed in with some of these images that we see is not very healthy. Like, I don't want my young nephews looking at some of these images that are not showing a black man in a positive masculine role, right? I'm always talking to my nephews of what to do, how they should be, how they should be saying things. They always come and talk with me and stuff like that. So there needs to be that positive alpha dominant black male figure with some of these young black men. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of those out there that's doing the work that needs to be done. And then on top of that, like I was saying, we have the media out here that's pushing all these images, right? And these optics. Like, I don't, and that's very harmful. But look, I'll be the first to say the media, they don't care about us.
No.
But those of us, right? But those of us that are in positions that represent talent or some of these companies, we have a say so to make sure the images are represented properly. I'm quite sure Jonathan Majors, his manager or his agent should have been like, yo, nah, you can't be putting that type of image out there. Right?
It wasn't worth it, especially when you have three movies coming out simultaneously of playing alpha males, and then you do that?
But it's the ego. Listen, guy, it's the ego. Listen, when a man, if a person not used to making a certain amount of money, and they get to a level and they think, okay, I'm a ride. That ego, they start tripping because right now I can't even watch Creed. I can't watch it because now the connotation that's been out there, the negative connotation that's out there, then the woman recant and say what she said because she's been bought off. Listen, at the end of the day, they don't even care because now, he gonna go on the list. He's gonna go on the list like most men do. Okay, they're on the list and nobody touched them. I mean, I was very disappointed in that situation. And I mean, what motivated you to do that? What motivated any black man or any man? Well, we're dealing with black men per se.
Yeah.
Come on, you having a right. At the end of the day, I don't care what your credentials are, how much money you got, listen, you still a N. Okay? You still an N. So get yourself together. Hollywood don't care.
You can use the word ninja, Miss Cynthia. We use ninja instead of the other word.
Okay, yeah, because but you still in. You have not arrived yet. And you know what? 100 years from now, you're still not going to arrive because it's something embedded in our black men that they just don't get. I got brothers, and they horn around. They horn around. It's like, where y'all get that from? Y'all didn't see y'all dad do that. So where does that come from? Where does it come from? I don't get it. I
hear you.
It's frustrating.
So guys, look, 10 things that women do, and I have to do the women because I mean, even those men emasculate each other too, but we're the most guilty party of it. We that's another thing. We as women have to learn to start taking more accountability, and excuse my language, for a fuckery. Okay, we walk around here like our shit don't stink. We don't ever do anything wrong, and we're always right. And that's not the case. So withhold respect or kindness to motivate him to do better. We don't do that enough. And this is things that men are saying how they feel emasculated. Now, remember, guys, anything I say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly.
Let it right.
You keep repeating what a child he is and how he acts like a child, and you just keep repeating. You complain about his job and his salary. You mistrust his ability to handle things on his own. You ask him for help and then tell him he's doing it wrong. You nag him or boss him around. You treat him like he's an uncivilized, unintelligent, or uncouth person. You compare him to your exes. You offer him unsolicited advice, and you criticize him on how he spends his downtime. Now, just think about it as us women, and Gary, you too, think about it when a woman did it to you. You know, these are things that may just come naturally to us, and we don't realize that we're emasculating our men. But these are the things and information that was gathered in data and that men said. And then I thought about my own. Well, I always compare to my marriage because that's my longest relationship. So that's a good reference to go back to, you know. And it's like, there were times when I did, and I have to admit it. But then there was other times, like when he wasn't happy at his job and he wanted to get off the road. You know, I went in there, polished up his resume and cleaned up his resume. And I said, hey, they're having a job fair. You know, 4:00 in the morning, wake your ass up. You're going to go, you're going to go to this interview. He's been at that job now since 2013, and he's in management, high level position. You see what I'm saying? You know, we gotta, if we want our men to do better, again, we are helpmates. We have to help them.
Also,
do better.
Yeah, but also too, I think that, you know, it's important, you know, there's the choices and the partners that some people make, right? And I think that, and I was reading the other day, and that's actually a woman psychologist. She actually wrote this, and I should have saved it, but she said something to the effect, and I don't want to screw it up. She was like, when women are younger, they want the bad boy, right? They want the bad boy, right? But after they get to, I don't know, their mid-30s or what have you, they want to settle down with the guy that's less alpha, right? The more of the beta male, right?
Yeah,
so then,
Gary, this is why you go ahead and you make 3 babies from 2 different men in your 20s, and you realize they ain't shit, and now you're in your 30s and you realize that you need a man and you deal with the kids, and you want the less alpha male to come in and clean your fucking mess when you should have been. And then you want to have high expectations and high standards to the man when you didn't hold that man who you allowed to impregnate you have those same standards. Like I saw a short.
You have all those standards for a man that you don't even have for yourself. Like
exactly.
See, I don't think it's. You know what? Yeah.
The moment a man says that he wants X, Y, and Z, then women want to be mad, right? So a man can't have standards, but when a woman can.
Accountability has to be accountability across the board. In other words, if I'm going to truly be accountable for my actions, I need to not even mention what was done to cause me to have those actions, because regardless, I cannot change the people around me, but I can change me. The Bible says that it's better for a husband to live on the roof than to be in a house with a nagging wife. Like, get away from that woman, you know what I mean? Because it's detrimental. You know, how many times men, okay, we're their hope, we're their inspiration. We're a lot of the reason a man is going to go out and work even a job he don't like is because he wants to come home to a woman he does like, okay? But then he comes home and it's, well, you need to empty the trash, you need to do this, you need to do that. He can't sit down for 5 minutes. You're telling him about your day and all the crap that happened to you that day. And even if it's not, you know, complaining about him, it's still coming at him. You know what I mean? It's that nag, 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 peck, peck, peck. Instead of
let the man
instead of a kind, hey, take the load off, relax. Hey, by the way, I appreciate that you got up and went to work today. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for taking care of this home. Thank you for taking care of this family.
Wait.
Appreciation goes a long way.
Grace, hold on.
You don't get an Oscar You don't get an Oscar for that. You don't get an Oscar.
I didn't say an Oscar. I said appreciation. You like it when people say thank you to you for cooking dinner.
If you do your job, if you're on a regular or somebody's job, if you know you're supposed to take out the freaking trash, okay, when you come in at 8 o'clock, you're supposed to take out the trash, then take out the trash. Okay, so why do I have to remind you to take out the trash? You don't have to remind me to cook.
He already went to work. He already paid the bills. I'm saying he come home.
Well, now
give him 5 minutes.
Both pay the bills. I mean, listen. You don't get a trophy or an awards from me for that. I'm sorry. Because if you want to be biblical, go biblical. If you want me to sit my behind, if you want to sit my black behind down and have me not work and take care of everything, that's biblical. But if you know that we decided that we're gonna do certain things in the household, then do your job. I do my job, you do your job. It's not a question of nagging. That's the problem that we have with our black men now. The mothers, they got the beg, borrow instead to get you to do what you need to do. Hell no. I'm not going to.
Yeah, how would you feel if you came home after working all day, cooked a full meal, and you were just told, hurry up and get that meal on this table? There's an approach. There's just a way to speak kindness to people.
Right, exactly. I totally agree. Like, there's a way you say things, right? So when a lot of black men talk about nagging, right. So, and I'm going to talk from experience. What it is, it's, what I dealt with in the past is what you say and how you say it, right? Now, some black women would say, oh, they don't care. But then, because if you want a black man to talk to you in the right, nice, kind, loving, caring way, well, the same thing should happen. Now, I'm not saying everything is perfect and every day goes perfect. You're going to have ups and downs, but when you communicating, as I've always said, if y'all have good communication with each other, it's how you talk to each other, right? So if it's going to be in a confrontational tone and you're doing it over and over or every so often, yeah, that's going to be nagging and, it's going to drive him away. Like, it's guaranteed.
But listen, Gary, listen to this. Maya Angelou, in her state, she says that if a person show you who they are, you accept who they are. If you're the kind of man that you got to be told 100 times to take out the garbage, that's the issue. When you already know, we already have established that that's your job to take out the garbage. So why should that be a question of nagging? Okay, it doesn't matter how I say. If you dead, if I say, well, honey, you're dead. It don't matter. If you're dead, you're dead. It don't matter. The bottom line is you're dead. So
yeah, but honey, how many times do us women have a tendency to say, take out the garbage before he's had a chance to look and remember that he needs to take out the garbage? We tend to jump on it before they have exactly, but yet we take it upon ourselves to tell them what to do. That's not our responsibility. That's not our child.
Then do your job.
And then you know what? I get
I'm
both
saying
sides.
If we're quiet, they might have an opportunity to do their job.
Like, I get both, Miss Cynthia, I get what you're saying, because right now I am training my son, because that's one of my pet peeves. I said, Jordan, you see the trash is full. You passed by it 5 times already. Why are you waiting for me to tell you to take the trash out? Okay? Right. I said, when you get married and you have a wife, she ain't got time to tell you to take the trash out because she's too busy bathing the babies, and if you do things right, I know this is kind of nasty, guys, but this is how my son is. I say, you could turn to her and say, look, my dear, less nagging and more gagging, okay? Because if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's hard, Miss Cynthia, because these young men become hard-headed as they and I said, Jordan, do things this way now. Put your clothes up, because you know what? I'm not gonna do it for you, because then you're gonna expect your wife to do it for you, and that's not her job to clean up after you. Now she can help you, but then I also understand Grace's side. You have to give him at least an opportunity. Maybe he's waiting to come inside, let him have a cold beer, and before he takes his shower, I'll go up to him and say, babe, don't forget to take the trash out before you take your shower. And that's it. The trash is taken out. There's no argument. There's no hostility. Come on, Miss Cynthia. We gotta start being nicer sometimes.
I've been married almost 30 years. This is my second marriage. I done tried all that crap that you guys are talking about. I have tried it and tried it and tried it. And listen, let me tell you something. Again,
but have you changed your ways? Have you changed your? You say you tried it and tried it, but have you changed the way you? Okay. Okay.
So I just know what I do. I just do it because I'm a very methodical person. Once I ask, once we agree that something's going to get done, to me, that's how it's supposed to flow. When it don't flow like that, then it's a problem for me. Okay. Now, I'm a mature woman. Okay. And let me tell you something. Not just a young man. It's an older man too. Okay. If you know the light bulb needs change, why are you gonna wait till it goes all the way out when you see it's dimmering? See, I have a problem. I think
it's annoying, and I get it. It's annoying.
We babysit the black man too much. That's my opinion. And I just thought
But you know where that babysitting starts from too much, Miss Cynthia? Where? It starts as a single mother coddling that little baby and doing everything for that little boy, and he falls on his knees playing a football game and she's running on the field. I remember the day my son busted his ass playing basketball. I was worried. I wanted to get up and run on the court. Being that I'm a basketball coach, he hit his head pretty hard on that head on the floor. But I said, no, you know what? He's got a coach. He's got an assistant coach. That's their damn job. I waited. And it was very hard, but I waited until he was sitting on the bench. And then I went and talked to him because I did not want to emasculate him. Oh, look at mommy running out there to see if Jordy's okay. No. I said, yo, you good? Are you dizzy? I looked at his pupils. You need something to drink. And he was like, no, mom, I'm good. But that night, I made him sleep with me to make sure that he was okay, and I would wake him up. But the point is that and you're right, we have too many of these mothers coddling these little boys, and then they grow up to be men, to be little boys. It's not my job to raise a grown-up. It's not my son's wife to raise Jordan. That's my job.
But
a lot of these single mothers don't get it. What?
There's a balance there. I know with my son, he just turned 14. I have had to get on to him to take out the trash, and I've been right there, Miss Cynthia. Forget it. I'm not arguing with you. I'm gonna do it myself. It's ridiculous. And then I come home one day, and I'm upset because I'm out there airing up the same dang tire for the 4th time because his older brothers won't do it. And he's like, my 14-year-old, I have 3 sons. The 2 older ones are 20 and 21. The 14-year-old comes out, and he's like, Mama, what you doing? I'm like, I'm airing up this tire, and it's probably gonna blow while I'm on my way to work, because I can't get neither one of your brothers to get out here and change this tire or patch it up or do anything. And I'm tired of it. He said, Mama, go inside. I know you're tired. So whatever, man. I go inside. And when I go to get up to go do something with that tire, he said, no, sit down. My 14-year-old went out, jacked up the car, pulled the tire off, pulled it in the garage, patched it up, rolled the tire through the house. I was not happy about the tire marks on the carpet, but I kept my mouth shut. That was a hard one. Took it to my dad. Papa, I want you to double check my work. Make sure this is safe for my mama to drive. Okay, I didn't ask him to do this. I didn't ask him to. He rolled it out there and put it back on. And then my dad starts, hey man, you got tire tracks on the carpet. Like, I'm gonna need you to clean that. And I got up and I was like, I looked at my daughter who was 9. Vivi, come on, let's clean those tire tracks. Why, mama? Wyatt just did that. Yeah, Wyatt just did that without me asking to make sure mama didn't die on her way to work. So you know what, sister? We're going to be helpmates. And we're going to go out here and we're going to clean this carpet so Wyatt can sit down and have a rest because he just took care of mama in ways you know nothing about.
Now, Grace, let me ask you a question. Those 2 better not pick them up from work or give them rides or do nothing. If they're not willing to help and be part of the solution, they're going to say I'm part of the problem. See, that's another thing. Your younger son changed the tire, but you're still giving ride. But you're still giving rides.
Oh no, the older two after that. After that, I told them, nope, you better figure out
They
your own
felt
way to work.
stupid,
Because if
didn't
I
they?
got to have the 14-year-old do this, that's ridiculous. You guys
Right.
are grown. Okay? I don't need to coddle you no more. You be all right.
Well, I'm just glad I don't have sons, because if I had sons, I
Girl, trust and believe.
I just believe, I guess I don't know if it's because I was born in February, I don't know what, but I'm a bottom line person. I can't deal with a lot of nonsense. Nonsense don't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. And I see right now, even in my neighborhood, I see this mother. I have a neighbor. She takes out the trash every Wednesday and Saturday. She got a 21-year-old living in her house. And I tell my husband, I say, Johnny, look out the window. You got, if you're 21 years old living in my house and I got to take out the trash, boy, you ain't gonna stay here. I'm sorry. You ain't gonna stay here. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I agree with you.
I'm gonna put your stuff outside and you find somewhere else to stay. See, now she's enabling him. So
my boys have their own place. They don't live with me no more. What we were doing was we were communing together. And since they can't help take care of that vehicle, they had to go get another vehicle, because there's their mama's name might be Grace, but my Grace only goes so far, baby.
Yeah.
I know that's
like, you got to man up. I can't keep coddling you. You got to man up. And I'm not teaching you how to be a man if I'm the man that you're relying on.
Exactly.
I can love you from a distance.
Let me get on these comments, guys. Latika, thank you for coming, Tika. I see you. I love it. How many ways can I say you dead nicely? That's what you had said, Miss.
You're dead.
And then she came back and said the 22 and the 20-year-old won't have a place to stay since they can't help out. Exactly. And then she said exactly too. And then Tika said bye. Just wanted to come say hi. And then Jonathan Riley said, thank you for coming. I see you're a newcomer and I appreciate that. Attitude justifies violence against females. Attitude justifies against violence. You don't have to elaborate on that one for me. And then Miss Tika said, Miss Cynthia, my auntie. So then I got here, ladies and gentlemen, and I know, Gary, I'm sorry, we've like kind of, the women have kind of taken over the conversation.
It's okay. I'm just listening.
Here are 5 ways. Now that we know how we've been emasculating our men, let's figure out the 5 ways to stop emasculating them. Stop trying to control everything. Trust your man to figure things out his way. And I really had to think about that, Gary. I'm still working on that. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh, that's a hard thing for women.
Let me tell you
that's
why.
Hard.
And you ladies see if I put it if I put it in a way where it's a good way. If I've been driving the car for most of my life, now you're asking me not to only relinquish the steering wheel, you're asking me to trust you that you know how to drive well. You're asking me to trust you that you know where you're going. And then you're asking me to trust you that you're going to get me there safely. This is why it is a working process, as I don't know about y'all, but with me, because since I've always been the brains of the operation with most men that I've dated, and I do have a submissive side, but you have to be able to fulfill that job description for me to say, okay, here are the keys to the car. And I'm working on it, Gary. I'm working on it. And it's hard because the older you get and the longer you've been the driver of that car, and now all of a sudden, don't you guys think that I want to sit in the front seat and be the pretty girl and look cute and think, but it's, babe, you're not going the right, you just passed the exit. You're going too fast. But this is what it says. Look for the best in him. When you constantly criticizing his job, the way he drives, what he eats, the way he does anything, he will feel defeated and shut down. So I guess what it's saying is we got to let them fuck up. We gotta,
Well,
Well, no. Can I? Okay, see, let me.
Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
y'all
now
go
he's
ahead.
chiming in.
See,
Y'all go ahead.
so first, I think that I do understand that it's challenging for some women because some women have done things for so long, and I think any understanding man would know that she's not going to turn over the keys immediately, so to speak, right? So it's going to be a process, right? You're going to have to communicate with her and get her to a point to where she feels that she can turn over the keys and feel safe. It's not going to happen overnight.
I just had a funny idea. Miss Cynthia, she ain't gonna give up the keys, but she'll give you a copy of the key. You
got that right.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, listen. Right. Whatever works in the communication. So it's.
I can see her itching to go off. I'm gonna just mute.
Look, I'm saying, listen. So, from my standpoint, it's about having the communication, right? And if you're able to communicate with your partner and get her to a point, you get her to a point where she feels comfortable and safe enough where she can give up the keys or whatever y'all agree to, right? Whatever y'all agree to, then that's what it would be. But I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. Now, I know there are some men that think that, once y'all get into a relationship immediately, then you're supposed to turn over everything. That's, that type of thinking is definitely wrong. I think they're crazy. And that's not how real life works, right? Especially you're not going to get anything done. You're not going to get anything of quality done if you really want a quality relationship with this person, right? I mean, because when you're getting into a relationship with someone, y'all taking the time to understand each other, right? So if you're taking the time to understand each other, you're understanding what works. Well, you're understanding what are you being comfortable with? What are some of the boundaries? What is acceptable? What's not acceptable?
Exactly, Gary.
What can we agree on? Right? What can we agree on? Right? And at what point, do we need to get to where we both feel comfortable with the direction that we're going? But most people, I'd like to say the majority of people, they don't have that conversation when they get into relationships.
And then renege.
All these years, Miss Cynthia's husband knows one of her pet peeves is that damn trash. So if they had that conversation at the beginning of the relationship, look, honey, I don't like trash. I don't like to be around trash. I don't like the smell of trash. So trash needs to be taken out. I need you to be on top of it.
Yeah, we don't always stop and have those conversations though. Like it goes more along the lines of I get mad about it literally every time. I lose my crap every time. Have you not figured out this is an issue for me in my life? And then with us women, it's not only relinquishing the keys. We have figured out we're efficient. Okay, I'm gonna just put it that way. We are very efficient.
Yes.
We will figure out an efficient way to get something done. So you know what? I'm gonna take all the laundry from this room and I might stop and grab it in that room. And while I'm there, I might do this and then, work my way and have everything done by the time I get to the laundry room. Okay. We are just efficient like that. So it's not only allowing a man to do it.
Better at multitasking.
Well, we get in our feelings when it ain't done our way.
But
because then you're just automatically doing it wrong.
A lot of times we get comfortable. We get too comfortable in a relationship. Listen, I'm gonna just be transparent. I have a pet peeve. This is my thing.
I love it.
I've been married almost 30 years.
Okay.
When I first got married, my husband flushed the toilet. He flushed the toilet. Now, 30 years later, the toilet doesn't get flushed all the time. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Why What? That's something that makes my hair turn green, and I use Dark and Lovely on my hair.
Well,
But
and that's that taking advantage of each other.
Sometimes we become
You know?
too familiar.
Have you
We become
asked
too
him?
familiar.
Yeah.
Have you asked him?
I did.
Miss Cynthia,
And
have you asked him? And what did he?
It went back to the childhood about how he was raised, and this is what I was told: if it's yellow, let it mellow.
If
What the
it's
hell
brown,
is
flush
that?
it
If it's
down.
yellow, let it mellow. What the hell? What?
Yeah, we feel some type of way about that. Yeah.
See, here's
No,
the,
I
see,
used to.
see,
Go ahead.
see,
It's too familiar, and I think a lot of times in relationships we get familiar. We may start out taking the trash out. Oh wow, the first 2 years, oh yeah, the trash taken out every day, other things get done. Okay, 5, 10, 15 years later, okay, I'm gonna wait and see if she's gonna say something or if she's gonna take it out. You know, as Gary said earlier, it's about communication, but a lot of times people renege on communication. They say they're gonna do this, and then everything changes. You know, it just.
I hear you, Miss Cynthia. I call it the switch and bait theory.
well,
where
so
you
here's,
reel me in and
you know,
do everything great.
my logic is, and what I've dealt with is, if you tell me that you don't like this or this bothers you, my logic says I'm not going to do that. Like I'm not going to. That's how my logic works, right?
Thank you.
Like that's my logic. So I don't, you know, it's just beyond me when I hear these other experiences that, you know, I guess guys don't do what they're supposed to, but
They get comfortable. They get comfortable.
If you respect the relationship with your lady, or you respect the relationship with your man, and they tell you, well, look, I don't like this. This bothers me, or this is my pet peeve, or what have you.
Don't use the master bathroom.
Yeah.
But hold on, Miss Cynthia, how long have you been married? This
30
time?
years.
30 years.
Almost 30 years. Yeah, like, I can't help but think he must be thinking, well, she ain't going nowhere. Like, we finna die together. Like,
yeah, but still,
whether that's a fact or not, I'm just thinking, like, men get hella comfortable. Like, she'll do it. I ain't got to.
Yeah,
Miss Cynthia. So don't make him. Tell him he's not allowed to use the master bathroom anymore. If he's gonna keep
one day,
I'm
just gonna blow it up.
Oh well.
Miss Cynthia might have you too.
No, you know, they have this. Look, they have this thing in the guest bathroom where it was a little toilet and it was a sensor. And when you turned off the light, it would say, "Hey, don't." No, when you turned on the light, it would scare people and say, "Hey, don't forget to wash your hands." So we need to see if they sell one on the market where it says, "Hey, don't forget to flush the toilet." You know,
I think her point is, I do my part. Why I gotta keep telling you flush the damn toilet?
I've even done signs. I've done signs,
girl.
So no, that does no.
Mm-mm.
No.
So that's just plain being subordinate. You know, like you like just, not having your feelings into consideration.
It's what Gary said earlier. Gary said that if someone said, you know what, Cynthia, I don't like my rice touching my peas. So when I'm plating your food, I understood what you told me. So I don't do it. But if you continue to do something that someone say they don't like, to me, that's just, you just don't care.
Well, to me, that's a problem, right? That's a problem.
Not only that, it's disrespectful. It's downright disrespectful.
Yeah.
You're showing me that you don't care.
You don't care.
You know, if I'm telling you this, and plus it's not sanitary, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. But
I get it, Miss Cynthia.
I think that's how us women take it. I think that's how us women take it, but I don't think that's the way it. I think it's just laziness, and we take it like, okay, well, you just don't care about my feelings. You just don't care about my boundaries, and so you don't care about me. And we take it that way, and we react in those feelings. But I don't think guys are doing it, Grace, to be some type of way. I think they just get complacent and lazy.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the person has to deal with that forever. But a lot of men emasculate themselves. They do it to themselves. And I'm gonna say it again. I'm the kind of female. If I see that you don't care about yourself, I'm the wrong person to show that to, because then I drag it through the mud. And I'm just being honest.
Now, do you think maybe he does that, Miss Cynthia, just to ruffle your feathers? I mean, some guys are like that. They're toxic. They like to start arguments.
You start to sound kind of toxic, Miss Cynthia.
but that bothers me. That really does. That really does. That really does bother me.
Then, you know what? Send him the link to this show so that he can like at least get it in his head some type of way. Like, we know. Like, what's his name? What's your husband's name? Miss Cynthia's husband. Look in the camera. Flush the freaking toilet, man. Send him the link.
But you know what?
Okay.
But you know, on a serious note, I really think that, you know, I've been in a few relationships, and most of them have been long-term relationships, and I've never really dealt with a man that had a problem with not knowing who they are. I haven't really encountered that. And the ones that I've come across that felt that way, I dragged them through the mud, and then I left them there. Because if you don't, I can't want more for you than you want for yourself. I can't.
And that's a great point that you say, because a lot of people want so much from a person that then themselves are not willing to give. And that's a crazy mindset. Reciprocation is vital. If you demand respect, then you should be respectful. If you want to be honored and cherished, then you should be that way. You know, it's like people want, but they don't want to give. And that's why you have to figure it out early on. And that's why it's so important to have those conversations, to vet up, you know, early on, and ask those uncomfortable questions, because I'm not going to wait until I'm 5 years in a relationship and find out shit that I should have found out in the first 6 months of our relationship. But because we live in a microwave society now, people just want to hook up, Netflix and chill. They're not taking.
They don't want to. They don't want to have. They don't want to have the real conversations. Look, I've dealt with a couple of women that they don't want to have the real conversation. I can't begin to want to do a relationship with you if you don't want to have real conversations. That's right. Like that, to me, that doesn't work, right? That doesn't work. But they want, you know, they want to see things differently, and I guess they're accustomed to, you know, dealing with a guy or guys how they've ever dealt with in the past. So when they come to me, like, you know, I always like to say I'm the brick wall that they run into, right? Because it's like, let's talk, like, let's have a real conversation, and they don't want to do that, or they want to play games, and I don't do that. Like, I ain't got time for that, right? Yeah. But they want things to happen their way. But if you want me to understand you, you got to talk to me, right? I got to talk to you. We got to understand each other.
Gary, wait, stop right there. That's just it. Most women don't know or haven't been taught to communicate. I mean, that's the root of the problem. Not only are you not getting the conversations that you want and need out of your relationship, but a lot of them don't know how to communicate. Remember our last show, social media is your relationship?
But they can tell you they want their hair done, their nails done, their rent paid, their car. They communicate all of that. They communicate that.
Right. See, and
right.
You know, I've always said it's like, look, you know, it also comes down to, I know sometimes men may say something and women may interpret it differently. So I'm like, if I'm saying something to you, like if I'm saying, I don't know, Grace, go across the street, are you understanding in the way that I'm saying that, or are you hearing something differently? Right? You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes,
but that's why I always try to recap. what you're trying to say. Like, Gary, what do you mean? You want me to go across the street and get you something to drink? Or you just want me to wait for you across the street? You know, I'm going to ask more questions.
Ask questions.
Just go across the street.
What do you want me to do across the street?
No, I'm going to go get the car and I'm going to swing around so you can be facing the door when I come pick you up. Okay, well, it makes goddamn sense. He doesn't want me to get in the car in the opposite direction of traffic. I said, okay, no problem. Okay, I'll meet you across the street. But again, these younger generations don't even know how to have basic communication. It's all about texting.
All about texting and texting.
Yeah,
exactly. Texting is so impersonal. It's so impersonal.
It's so impersonal. And I mean, you give somebody, listen, Wednesday, we're going to be talking about dating people with kids. Oh, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't. And I have kids of myself. If I had to get out there, and I know at the age that I am right now, it would be hard to date someone who didn't have kids. But let me tell you something. It is such, oh my gosh, it is.
Yeah, because you have to take on their kids. But Miss Cynthia, did you know that 51% of African American males are single and childless?
Yes, I did my study. Yes.
It's the same men. 80% of African American children are made out of wedlock and with the same Pookies and Ray Rays. If I see a man, first of all, these are my Miss Bell. These are my standards. Me dating, I don't date a man with more than 2 kids. Okay, and they have to be at least 11 or 12. I'm not doing diapers. I'm not doing daycare. I'm not doing all that. I already did that. I raised 3 boys that are not mine and play the stepmom role. Now, I don't mind playing stepmom to a teenager where they're self-sufficient, where if they come to the house, all I got to do is, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, you know, but I'm not doing that. I won't. And then if you don't have kids, I won't date you. But the guy was like, well, you didn't even give us a chance. I said, for what? At my age, one, I got my tubes tied. I can't give you no babies. So what am I going to put in 5-6 years with you? And then you turn around and have a baby on me? And no. Yeah. So I don't even, if I see no kids on your profile, I'm swiping left. And your kids got to be of age, and you can't have more than 2 kids. And then I got to think about it. If you have 2 different baby mamas, I might not even deal with it because I don't bring drama to the table. I have 1 son. He's 17 years old. And me and the father have an amicable relationship. So why would if I'm bringing peace to the table, why would I want to bring chaos to my life? Yeah. So, but as you say, Miss Bell, I'm a little bit younger than you. It gets harder and harder.
Yeah, you're a lot younger than me. But this is the thing, is that, you know, as far as emasculating the black man, a lot of times in relationships, you know, we women, we do it so much, and I don't even think sometimes the black man know his role, or he's never been taught his role.
He's never been taught because he was raised by a single mother.
But let me make it more personal. In church, you would think that people in church and leadership, men who are in leadership, that when you come to a door, whether they know you or not, would hold the door for a female or anybody that's coming in. I have experienced this so many times going to church, black men who are leaders, preachers, teachers, deacons, whatever. And they, unless they know you or you're in their clique, they don't hold the door for you. So who didn't teach them? Who didn't teach them to hold the door?
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, Miss Cynthia. Well, a lot of these men been hearing from women all their life, ninjas ain't shit. We don't need ninjas. I'm an independent woman. Because I've heard a lot of men who will open a door for a woman, and the woman will turn around and say, you don't have to open the door for me. I can open my own door. So
I never say that.
giving you, I'm just
James
trying
Brown
to give
is
you.
the only one that said that. James Brown, open the door, I get him. No, I listen. I believe in chivalry. Now listen. I have had jobs. I've made more money
Feminism
than
killed
men.
chivalry.
You know, I've made more money than men, but I listen. Get the door. Get the freaking door. What different? Get the door. I mean, that's another pet peeve of mine. And you know, I just, yeah, I don't know. I'm pet peeving out, girl.
That's okay. That's okay. But let me keep going this. It says here, focus on what he does well and he would rise up. Don't give unsolicited advice. Check in before giving him advice, because he may already have a solution and we're already jumping in and giving him solutions. If you ask for help, accept how he supports you. Otherwise, he won't offer help again. And that's like, let's say a man offers me to change a tire, and I have the audacity there to be over his shoulder and be like, no, you're not doing it right. You're doing it wrong. So if I knew what I was doing, then why bother asking a man to do it? We just sometimes, like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I knew he wasn't going the right way. I knew we were gonna get lost. I knew we were gonna be late, but I didn't say anything because you know what? I didn't want to start an argument about, oh, I know where I'm going. But you see, I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I'm not, because then he got upset with me. Well, why didn't you say something? Why you let me just pass the exit? I said, wait a second. The last time we were in the car, you told me to let you drive, that you got this. So I'm doing what I was told to do. You said you got this. So you just gonna let me pass the exit and get, yup. Because there was gonna be a point in time where you're gonna realize that we were going the wrong way. You're gonna turn your ass around and get yourself back on track. Because then if I pinpoint every time that you're doing something wrong, then you're gonna say I'm nagging. So there's a lot of times now where men just, come on, man. It's either you want us to help you or you don't want us to help you. But then
I think that it's you know,
how we help and how we do
my
it.
take my take is, again, as I've always said, is the effective communication, right? So now I will say that, like, if I'm saying to my lady, like, look, if she asks me something and I tell her, well, this is how you do it, and she doesn't want to listen, and then she does it wrong, then it's like, don't come back. It's like, I told you already.
That's
right?
me. That's me, Gary.
Like, because I'm notorious for that, right? I will, if you're my lady, I'm gonna, like, I'm here to help you. But if you're asking me for my help and I lay it out for you, and you, for whatever reason, don't feel like you need to do it, and you do something different and it goes wrong, then don't come back, because I already told you.
Something, Gary, because
Right.
me and my dad used to get into this all the time. He would give me advice. I wouldn't follow his advice, and then he would get upset with me. Sometimes it'll work out the way I wanted to do things, and sometimes it wouldn't. But isn't that what that just is? Is just advice? I don't have to go with your plan. What if I found another plan that was better? Will you still get upset?
No, listen, if it worked, no, so if you ask me for advice and I give you my advice, I'm not mad that you didn't take my advice. Now, if you went and did something else and whatever you wanted to do failed, then it's like, what do you know, and in my case, because I want to see you do well, more times than not, I'm going to lay it out for you. Right?
My dad would take it personal. He thought that I should do it his way, and it was the best way. And then don't let me mess up. See, I told you. You should have listened.
But also too, from a male standpoint, if it's something that we're experienced in doing, and we've been down that road a couple of times, so we're telling you firsthand experience. Here's how you need to do it. Like, here's how you need to do it, so it works for you.
And then
you're right.
It's a trust factor. And I think a lot of times the emasculating, all of that, it comes down to being a trust issue. Because I take my daughters. We talk a lot. You know, they give me advice, I give them advice. I trust them and they trust me. Now, in a relationship, man, woman, it has to be that trust. As Gary said earlier, I want you to succeed. I want the best for you, and it goes back to trust. If Gary, I asked Gary for his. I said, well, how do you do this? You say, well, Cynthia, this is how you do this. Okay, all right. Now, if I choose not to do it his way and it come out wrong, then it's on me. And if he's done it before and it came out correct, it goes back to a trust factor. You know, and there's not enough trust in relationships. We know that because right now, with Rihanna being a billionaire and her baby daddy, is there really a trust factor? You're having a second baby, and your baby not even 1 year old yet. Is that right? Her baby not even 1 year old.
Nope. No, it's not even one.
So you trust me. You trust me to lay with me and not use protection, and I get pregnant, okay? But I don't trust you for you to take a picture standing side by side with me, holding our child. You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, it would have been, I think, the picture would have been better. Like that cover would have been better if they were, you know, like a side by side, like similar to the Cardi B.
Exactly.
Offset picture.
Side by side.
Right. Because now, yeah, it would have been that would have been a more impactful statement, right? Yes. On a more positive level.
Yes.
Now, PA Texas says women are usually wrong and men are usually correct. I'm sorry, PA, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you because that could go either way. Men are usually correct. Men, but you know what? I'll give you something. If men are correct, it's because men are logical beings, and we as women tend to make detrimental decisions in our lives when we're in an emotional status. And I had to learn that the hard way, Gary and Miss Cynthia and everybody else in this room, that you don't make a life-altering decision under emotional chaos. You have to take a 24-hour cooling period and really go for a walk. I mean, I hate to say it, go smoke a cigarette, go do something to calm your ass down, because you'll do things out of emotions and then regret it the next day. That's why people need to learn how to argue correctly. We got to stop hating below the belt. The sign language, the shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. Now, if me and Gary in an argument, I'm going to be like, well, that's why your dinner last week that you cooked was trash. I'm like, really? What does that have to do with, like Snoop used to say, let's keep to the lecture at hand.
Right? Yeah.
Right? Don't bring shit up that bothered you 2 months ago now to deflect. And I'm sorry, and I'm a woman, and I'm gonna be woman enough to admit it. We tend to do this bullshit a lot, and men hate it. Men hate it. But I also explain to men the reason we keep bringing something up is because in our head it hasn't been resolved.
It hasn't been settled.
But see,
exactly.
Well,
so
right, but go
ahead, Gary.
Go ahead, Grace. Finish.
No. I need this male input.
Okay.
We're telling you that in our head it hasn't been resolved. That's why we keep bringing it up.
Well, but see, here's the thing.
It up at the most opportune time.
But see, here's the thing. I see. I'm a communicator. So if we're having an issue and you tell me and we discuss it, we discuss it and I guess I'm the type to want to make sure that it's clear, it's definitely resolved. Now, if you tell me that, okay, everything's good, it's resolved, and then I don't know, a week later or 2 weeks later or a month later, something happens and you bring that up, it's going to be problems. It's going to be problems. It's going to be problems because don't tell me something like if you say that this is okay or we're fine, Gary, we worked it out, I'm not mad or what have you, and you make me understand that this is where we're at, and then you want to bring up that shit, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, then it's going to be a problem because I'm like,
that's Gary's pet peeve.
I'm logical to a fault, right? I'm logical to a fault. Because if it's not making logical sense, it's not going to work with me.
It's not going to work with me. If it don't make sense, the guy says feeling versus logic. Let me tell you something. In October 31st, 1983, had I not made that decision to leave my first husband in that relationship, I don't know where in the hell I would have ended up at. So let me tell you something. Women, we do make good decisions. And sometimes you have to stand back and think about what you're doing. Feelings versus logic, it made no sense to stay in that relationship. None at all. So,
I hear you.
Yeah.
But see, there's women that say, and the other thing is with men is that, and I think Grace was touching on it briefly, when you get into an argument, like, you can't say, so words hurt, right? I think you both would agree, right? Words hurt, or words can hurt.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you can heal from
Words
a
matter.
bruise.
Words matter.
Right. You can heal from a bruise, but if someone that you're in a relationship with, you're in love with, you care about, say something and it hurts you, that's really not going to go away like that. Because to me, if you really care about me, why are you going to say something that's going to hurt me, right? And I think that when people get too emotional,
try to get leverage.
Right. But see, if you say things to deliberately hurt someone, then that's, especially if it's because your partner's supposed to be your sanctuary, right? Supposed to be your home, if you will. Supposed to be your peace. So if if you're having an argument and you say something out of spite to hurt them, yeah, that doesn't work with me. That doesn't work with me because I'm not I won't do that. Like, I'm not, if I know we're in a relationship together like that, I'm not going to say something out of spite just to hurt you. Like, again, that doesn't make logical sense.
No,
at least to me.
And you're right.
But you can't
Gary.
say
I had
stuff.
A bad habit.
And you can't say, well, oh, I was mad at you. Like, fuck that. That doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
And
it really
you're right,
doesn't.
because I'm gonna admit it. When I was younger, my mouth was venomous. I was bad with it, and and that was my defense mechanism. When I felt like I was losing an argument, or I was getting degraded or belittled, I would come. You shoot at me, I'm unloading on your ass. But that's not the way to do it, especially like you said, Gary, if you call yourself loving and respecting this man, like I've seen young girls in the morning talk to their man, calling him a F ninja and F that and this, and then you expect that man to lay down with you at night? And then you do it in public. You do it in public.
That's what make it worse.
They used to it. They don't care that because they're thinking about listen. We can't change
I would never think of disrespecting my man that I know he's taking care of bills, he's taking care of me, he's taking care of my son, and call him all types of names in public. I'll wait till behind closed doors, and even then I'm going to be graceful with him. Like perfect example, me and Gary are on our way to an event, and we get into it on the way there. As soon as he opens that door for me, we're at the event. We good. I'm still gonna make your plate. I'm still gonna refresh your drink. It's like nothing happened. But as soon as we get back in that car on our way home, we're gonna talk about it. When we get home, make him a drink. I get my drink, and we're gonna communicate about it. But going off in public, people love misery. People love to see that.
Listen,
I've seen some people ammunition.
Yeah,
I've seen some stuff here in New York with some couples that the arguments that happen in the street or on a train in front of people, and I'm just shaking my head in disbelief. Like, again, if this is your partner, you're someone that you love with, you care about, you got to take that behind closed doors. But they're about embarrassing. Like, again, it doesn't make logical sense for me, because you must not care about that person. You must not love that person if you're going to embarrass them and think it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you something. Maxine Walters says something. She said that, you come for me, I'm going to come for you. And I'm the kind of person, I don't mess. I don't go looking for nothing. I don't mess with nothing. But if you bring it to me, I'm not going to do it in public. Because if I get to a point where I've got to show my behind in public, that means that we're done. Because you got to have some integrity. You got to learn how to fight. Because you got to learn how to disagree. But if you come for me, I'm coming for you. Now, if you want to deal with it, we can deal with it at home behind closed doors. But like Grace said, I'll fix your plate.
I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change who I am and my behavior, because you're still my man, even though we're arguing and me and Gary are going through it because he didn't pass the exit and we lost and we now an hour late. We didn't miss the free cocktails and shit.
But see, here's the thing. So, like you just said, now here's what you said, and here's how I'm taking it. Right now, this is communication. You're saying that if I come for you, so meaning that if I'm interpreting that as if I'm getting on your case, yelling at you about something. Is that right, or am I hearing it wrong? No,
what I mean is, in my relationship, if you come for me, I'm going to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I'm saying is, you come for me, I'm going to come for you. I'm not going to back off.
No, I understand what you're saying there, but what I'm saying in that means that, so what I'm getting is that if I'm coming for you, meaning that, am I attacking you in an aggressive manner, like yelling at you? Is that what you mean?
No, Gary.
Okay. I just want to get clarity. I just want to get clarity.
Let me say this. I am 67 years old, and I've never had a man yell at me.
Okay.
Because I always, in the beginning of a relationship, I let it be known. I don't roll like that. I don't come at you like that, unless now if you come at me like that, then all bets are off. But I don't carry myself in a way that you would have to talk to me or yell at me that way.
Okay, all right.
What I'm saying, if we disagree, if you come to me, you know what, I don't like this, or we got a problem with this. If you're coming to me, then okay, then I'm gonna come back at you too. 2 + 2 = 4. 1 + 1 is 2.
And Miss Cynthia, I understand what you're saying, because I'm the same way. I don't like yelling. My father tended to yell a lot, and it was very loud with it, even though I know I'm a loud person. But as soon as a man starts yelling at me, I shut down.
That's now, what I do.
The younger Grace,
I shut down anyway.
The younger Grace would have participated back in the yelling, but I'm not gonna. I'm older now. I've gone to therapy. My motto is being more graceful versus so gangster. So you start yelling at me, and that's one of my triggers. I'm gonna respectfully turn around and turn my back, and I'm going to the other room. When you cool off, we'll come back and talk about this, because you are not gonna fucking yell at me. And I'm gonna walk away, and I'm gonna let you sit in that. And if you continue to yell, I'm leaving the house. And I would tell you, hey, I'm going for a drive. We need to set, I'm gonna tell you, because a lot of people like to leave the house and not tell the other part. I might just go get you some food. Maybe you hungry and you just snapping at me.
Oh, hell no.
Because I've learned that some men be, hangry. I'll be like, yo, what's good? You hungry? Because, while you go take a shower and cool off, I'll go get you something to eat, because you're not going to talk to me this way. She's still in there. Graceful is there, but, those buttons get pushed. I'm snapping back, but that's where emotional intelligence comes in, and you learn to have composure. But if Gary knows that yelling is one of my triggers, and you rightfully yelling at me, I'm going to look at you sideways and be like, oh, so you Okay, I can't promise you how I'm going to react, but I'm really trying to be graceful with it. And I get Cynthia. So it's all in approach. Some approach is very important to them. I'm down at me, but if you come at me, hey Grace, you know, I think you really should have this, because then I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna be receptive. Or you start yelling, I shut down. And and tell me if I'm wrong, Gary or PAT, and any gentleman here, most men shut down as well as getting yelled.
Absolutely,
Make man caves.
Yeah, most men definitely. When a woman starts yelling at them, they're sort of immediately tune out. Like, you know, they immediately tune out when she starts yelling and stuff like that. Even these new I guess these new guys nowadays that get into these relationships that I see where the girlfriend or they're yelling in the street, the guy was like, you look at him and he's tuning out, right? But I mean, I think that, you know, the important thing, as I always say, and I know it sounds like a broken record, I think in the beginning, you know, you have to lay that communication foundation down.
You really do.
I always say that. Like, I always say that. Like, sometimes I joke, I say, in the beginning, I give my fair warnings. You can't say I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't say I didn't tell you. Disclaimers.
Yes.
I give my fair warnings, right? So, you know, so you can't, because some people, they like to say, oh, you didn't tell me, I didn't know. Nope. In the beginning, I lay it all out. I give you the fair warnings. So you know, if you do this, or here's how I'm going to respond, here's how I'm going to react, and here's what's going to happen. And you can't say I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
But you know what, Gary, you're a smart man, because that's also CYA. You're covering your ass, and you're communicating with that person. So when something comes up, you'll be like, yo, I told you. If you know my pet peeve is this, and now you coming back and bringing this shit up, and you told me everything was resolved. No. And I get it. I totally get it. And now, just real quick, the last thing it says here, the way to stop emasculating a man is be direct. Instead of nagging, tell him what you want and need, and then give him the space to provide. I know that doesn't sit well with Cynthia, because if she's giving you a honey-do list, and it's been 3 weeks and the shit still ain't done, that's a problem.
You know what, Grace? I've always had as I said before, I'm a bottom line person, and I'm very direct. And I don't have a problem telling somebody we're done. We don't need to go no further with this, or I don't have a problem with that. And some people can't handle it. Some people really just can't handle it. And the older I get, and the more direct
the stronger that gets.
And people can't, and not just in a relationship. It's in my family, you know. Because you know what, I'm in a place in my life I just don't give a damn.
Because you learn that peace is better than toxicity. Peace is very valuable to you.
Yes.
But Gary, I didn't just get on y'all men, because I didn't just get on the women. Now I'm getting on y'all. It says here 6 ways to avoid being emasculated in your marriage and relationships, because there are things as a man that you can do to prevent being emasculated. It doesn't make it right, but you can put yourself in an arena where you can minimize the fuckery if you at least know how to. Here we go. Always treat your wife or girlfriend with respect, but don't cave to her all her demands. Better yet, avoid demanding women altogether.
I agree.
So, okay. If your wife or girlfriend says something to you in which you disagree, or if she says she wants to do something and you don't want to, you need to say so.
Right.
Don't do it.
Absolutely.
and then be pissed off about it. Okay. So if I tell you, Gary, I need you to go buy my feminine hygiene products, and you tell me, and you're uncomfortable with that for some reason, you need to voice that. No, I don't feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
But this is the issue. Men won't voice that or communicate that. Then me and Cynthia come behind y'all, and now we talking our shit because we don't know, and you didn't communicate with us that you felt uncomfortable doing that.
Right. Agreed.
Okay. Men have as much in so-called women's issues. You have just as much say in women's issues because they're not women issues. They're human issues.
They're human.
And
thank you.
Most issues involve a man and children. So know your mind and speak it.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I already know you do this and you know this, but that, men complain of us emasculating them, but they're not speaking up.
No.
If you don't want to go out tonight with my friends and you don't feel up to it, don't go and be fucking miserable and ruin my night.
I tell somebody else. I tell somebody else instead of telling the person, your significant other. You go tell
your mama. You're gonna call your mama and be like, "Oh, this girl got me going out now with some friends I don't like."
And then they're looking at you crazy when you see them because you don't tell. Instead of telling the person how you feel, you don't tell Bob and Sally Sue.
Yep.
Exactly, and you didn't tell Grace, the person that matters.
Right. And exactly. The person that matters.
Me, if you're like Gary, if Gary comes to me and says, "Grace, I don't feel comfortable with you and your best." Okay, it goes back to my relationship with my best friend who's a male, right? And Gary says to me, "I don't mind y'all having a friendship, but I don't feel comfortable y'all two just going out together. It would always either have to be I'm home." I said, that's reasonable, but don't get mad at me when I call you from work and be like, "Hey, me and Big Man are going out to dinner tonight. We're going to go hang out." And you all pissed off, but you didn't tell me how you felt about that. And now you're pissed off. You're pissed off at my friend. Now you're going to tell me I can't be friends with them anymore. Something, again, the communication. Know your mind and speak it. Number 4, don't try to prove that you're a modern man when you know damn right you old-fashioned.
Yes.
Don't be overly accommodating and wind up frustrated. You cannot let a woman have everything they want and have her way every way, because you're going to be the one walking around frustrated and then take it out on us because you're frustrated, and you're frustrated because you didn't communicate with us. What were you frustrated about? So did that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that
it's okay to say no. It's okay,
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that you can't give into every demand, but I think that if there's things that she wants to do and you feel okay about it, then fine. Then okay, cool. But I mean, if it's if she wants to start to be demanding on things, then that's problematic.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah, because if you accommodate us so much of us, we're gonna feel like we can walk all over you, and then we're the mean ones. And you
here's the thing. I think that
and don't set boundaries.
Well, in a relationship, you clearly want to communicate with each other, and if there's things that each other want to do, then you discuss those things, but I don't think you give each other free reign to do whatever they want, because then that's a recipe for problems.
Well, you know what, Gary?
Guys, go ahead, Miss Cynthia. Go ahead.
I was going to say, my husband now is pretty much the first man that ever told me no on something.
10, 13.
When I was dating my first husband, they never told me no. And that was such a challenge because Johnny said no on some things, and it blew my head off because no one has never really told me no, especially when you're dating somebody, the sex is good and everything is good, and you just do whatever and get whatever. And the first time that I was told no, I was like a kid that had a tantrum. I didn't know what to do. And that's really sad.
Okay, I got the comments piling up, and we've already passed the 2-hour mark, which means something must be good. But let's go ahead and let's see what P. Texas said. Agree. Then he said, if I ask a female to buy my male products like oil filters and tire plugs, he's gonna take it.
And
then Grace came back. She has some things to do, but she came back and she said communication is key. But sometimes just out of respect, you get what you give. So if you don't like what you're getting, then evaluate what you're giving. Girl,
okay.
If I had comment of the night, of the night, that would be it.
That's true.
Fair enough.
I need to
Fair enough.
face that.
Is it not okay to say no?
Texas said,
oh,
go ahead.
No, I was reading what he said about
it's
saying no.
It's not okay to say no. Women don't understand no. You say no, and she's now your enemy. Especially if it's a woman that's never heard to say no. Like Miss Cynthia.
Here's the thing. When you're getting into a relationship with someone and you're getting to know them, and you having all these conversations and discussions, you kind of know where boundaries are, right? So there should be an understanding of, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Now, there are some women that I'm sure that will try to push the envelope or may try to push an issue, but, I think that, the guy would have to put his foot down and say no. But also, I do think that if you're having your conversation and discussion, then you're starting and you're learning each other. There's, you kind of know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, right? So answers that you get may not be surprising.
Men just need, it's okay, like True Table said last week, it's okay, men, it's okay to have boundaries and standards. But when a man comes with us with boundaries and standards, we look at them like they crazy. And if more men would just keep doing that, you'll train us again. You'll retrain us, because that's what it is. Men are trying to do everything to make their woman happy or that girl happy for that moment. And then you allow us, he a sucker. I can get whatever I want out of him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've used my pretty privilege.
Well, that's the mentality of a lot of women nowadays. That's
but men need to stand up more. I say almost every show? Men need to start taking their position at the table, at the head of the table. Stop sitting at the side or next to two other people. Take your position at the head. I understand that a lot of men nowadays are not being taught how to play that position. And at the end of the day, it's up to us women. You can't go around saying these ninjas ain't shit when we're the ones raising these ninjas. When I hear women say, men ain't shit, I said, but who raising them? Stop having babies with Pookies and Ray Rays, get married, and have a man in the house so could teach him how to be a man. And I take that personally. I am teaching my son to be a man, a husband, and a father. Well, I'm showing him. I can't teach him. And I can teach him how to be a good man. But because I had a good father and lots of uncles and male cousins in my life, I'm taking what I learned from them. And so my male family members being taught from them. And I'm just soaking it up into my son. He's gotten a job since he was 14. Got his driver's license, got credit, got stock. I'm trying to set him up because it's a trickle effect. If I get him right, he's going to be right for his wife and his kids. And then my grandbabies are going to be good because mama ain't got time. I'll take care of my grandbabies, but I'm not raising them. That's not my job. My job was to raise my son so you can be with a woman and raise your damn kids, because I'm out. I'm going to be somewhere living my dream and living my life, but I'm still be Graham. I'm gonna still be Nina, but I'm not gonna be tied down like I see a lot of grandparents taking care of their kids and being stuck and giving up the latter part of their life. No, And it all starts with us having the two-parent household is so vital and so important. Yes, we have allowed things to infiltrate the family unit. Now we know that what's wrong and it's not working for us. Single motherhood is not working for us. We need to now change. You know better, Gary, but Cynthia, you know better. So it's going to take people like us. If we could change the mindset, if you could change the mindset of one young man and not have him be a pookie, and me and Cynthia can change the mindset of two young ladies to marry before you carry, then we didn't did what we're supposed to do. We can't save everybody.
I mean, look, there's, unfortunately, you have a lot of women out there who they, for whatever reasons, are attracted to these toxic men, right? And they're having kids with these toxic men. And, and for the male and for the sons that they have, they're taking out the anger and the frustration on the son. And when they go and for the woman getting into a relationship with another man, she's bringing that baggage. She's bringing that, I guess, anger and toxicity into the next relationship. That doesn't that's a problem. That's a major problem.
Exactly. Yeah. So men need to learn to say no more. And men, Gary, you need to retain your male friends and make use of male spaces. That's important for a man to keep his, what did Kevin Samuels used to call it? His tribe.
Yeah.
Because, and there is, men and women need their own space in the house, a man cave or because we need a place to decompress and diffuse so arguments don't get so bad. Stop calling the cops on each other. Stop hurting each other. You put charges on people and ruining their lives and their livelihoods just because you're mad at that moment.
Keep your integrity. And that's what I tell. I mentor young girls, and I tell them, you always want to keep your integrity, because once you lose your integrity, that's pretty much it. No amount of money can buy integrity. You can't buy that.
Very true.
And on the flip side of that, I'll slap somebody down in a minute, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So it says here, men have been systematically feminized for decades. Systematically before the shift in male identity was no accident. It is a direct result. This emasculation, like you said, Miss Cynthia, and we talked about it, Gary, this is not just starting now, 5, 10, 15. This is all the way back from slavery day. Okay. But it's also nowadays, it's a direct result of the rise in single motherhood and father absent homes. The educational system is dominated by females. You don't see male teachers anymore. Nope. And remember when we did that show about the 31-year-old that got pregnant? And I told you the story about that male teacher. He had to quit Miss Bell teaching because he was a very good looking man. And he knew it, and the young girls at the school knew it. And when he was trying to do the right thing and not be close to these young girls, they would threaten him with false accusations. So he literally had to walk away from his career to protect his freedom. Yeah. So that's why the educational system is dominated by females. So not only are you being raised by a woman at home, now you go to school 8 hours a day and you ain't nothing but a woman. Is a woman. Then it's like, where is the male going to have the testosterone and the male influence? The feminist movement, which insists men are unnecessary and even harmful to women, that has helped emasculate men. We don't need y'all. We could do it. We better than y'all. We want a traditional man, but we want to be an independent woman. Which one is it going to be? And then the intro of the new age sensitive guy who is presumed superior to the macho man. So the yes dear is considered the better choice. And you know what? I did a short, and it's my short that has the most views. I said, no more happy wife, happy life. It's happy spouse, happy house. Then I heard another one, Gary, happy king, happy kingdom. I'm like, ooh. But you know, it's not just all about us all the time, ladies. It's not just all about, you know, the man is entitled to have his say. The man is entitled to be part of the marriage. It's not just about us. But we also need to stop emasculating them and giving them the opportunity to be men. At least the ones that are trying. The ones that ain't, there's nothing you can do already, Miss Bell. They're lost in the sauce. But the ones that are,
also, let me just say quick. There is a term that's been probably seen in the news and online and in a lot of I guess a lot of articles in dealing with masculinity is the term is toxic masculinity, right? And that term was conceived by two gay white men.
Toxic masculinity.
No, toxic masculinity, right? So the attack on, you know, basically the dominant male, the alpha male, or what have you, it's you know, so to them coining that term, toxic masculinity, you know, like I was saying, it was coined by two gay white men.
So a problem was created by the gender, and now we're doing what we're not supposed. It's just like the battle of the sex.
Yes.
Sexes.
Yes.
PA, I am not reading your nasty ass comments, so I'm reading them, but I'm not going to read them out loud. Grace said we like to nurture and fix everyone but ourselves. If his toxicity is louder than mine, then mine no longer exists. I can just blame him. And then wait, because I got to read yours before we say it. No, I'm not putting that up there. We like you, Mr. No, I'm not putting that up there. You're being nasty, PA. And then Grace said, if the husband is at peace, then he'll ensure the wife's happiness, which then results in happy children and a joyful household. And that starts from your upbringing. That starts from teaching. You know, I still believe in gender roles. I still believe in gender, but it has changed because times have changed. Women are working now. You can't expect me to go work 8-9 hours and still come home and cook the meal, clean the house, take the kids, bathe the, you know, it's interchangeable now. But I still think there's some main gender roles that still stick. We can't do everything.
No,
we can't. We're each other's helpmate.
That's what helpmate.
What was that, Miss Bell?
It's helpmate. A lot of men take that out of perspective. It's helpmate. And
not a maid.
Everybody has to work in the home to make it work. You know, whoever gets home, start dinner, you know, vice versa. It can't be just one way. And you know, that causes conflict. Excuse me, that causes conflict.
And then once the conflict happens, then anger comes. Then anger comes, then resentment. Then after resentment is, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm going to go get on the dating app and go find somebody else. Yeah. So I'm going to read one last thing. I'm reading a comment that a man wrote under this article, and it says, women have abused their newly found equal opportunities by unapologetically weaponizing equality with men as a strategy to dominate men. By using their superior verbal skills, women strive to extinguish their past subjugation by molding men into obedient, soft-spoken, politically correct, people pleaser who are expected to work, be little more than silent ATMs. Modern men have been raised by mothers and girlfriends, wives, and teachers to be invisible enablers who echo their female partners, the concept of what a society should be. The goal of a happy wife, happy life has become the version of be seen and not heard. I thought that wrapped up everything that we just talked about tonight in a nice box with a pretty bow, because you know
that was what? Good. That was excellent. That was excellent. Yeah, no, I mean, you know what you read there, I think it goes over a lot of people's head, but I think that he was pretty on point. He was definitely on point.
Yeah, you see why I took that. And what did I say his name? His name was Alan Ramison. So I have to give him credit for that. He wrote it January 22nd of 23. I think we're both guilty of it. We emasculate men and they do the same to us. But at the end of the day, everybody, that magazine cover made me feel some type of way. I haven't even seen Creed because of that magazine cover. Because how can I respectfully see you in this version when you've already tainted this version? And it's just, I'm confused.
Yeah.
And then the one with Rihanna. Go ahead, Miss Bell.
No, the magazine. Everybody talked about it. Rihanna, and but look at the bigger picture. He's okay with it. I don't know because he's young. I don't know, but I couldn't imagine Jay-Z taking a picture like that. I couldn't imagine him doing that. So I don't know if youth has a role in that, because and he's just happy as a lamb. Who is his
look
parent?
Look at this. Beyonce was raised by two parents in the household. See, she had a father influence. So she knows her role when.
Yeah, she was raised in a two-family household.
Yeah. So Beyonce, even though she's Beyonce, aka Sasha, she knows her role when it comes to Jay-Z. And that's why they've been together. Look, he cheated on her and they still worked it out. She thought logically instead of emotionally. She's like, shit, he a billionaire. It's cheaper to keep him because she got her own money too and has all. So it's just a matter of what we value and what's important
and what
to
you
us.
want.
I think these younger generations are like lost in the sauce. And I brought up this conversation because everything that's put out there by the media is not okay. We don't have to be okay with shit. If it makes us feel some type of way, it's okay to voice it. There's a lot of people that feel like you, me, and Cynthia, but they're too scared to voice it or they don't want to have the hard conversation. Well, come to Embrace Grace and talk with Gary and Miss Cynthia, and we'll have that hard conversation with you. And we promise nobody will watch it. So with that,
it's always real.
I to show my videos, Gary. This conversation was so good. I had Dr. Francis. I had all this, but hey, sometimes just having the real conversation is good enough.
I always like Gary commentaries because see, I can deal with somebody who's real. When you're real and you communicate to me on a real deal, then I can respect you. But when you just saying stuff just to say it because it sounds good and you want to be liked by somebody when you don't really feel it inside, that's a turnoff for me. So, but I always like your commentaries, Gary. You're real. You're real. From a man perspective, I can respect that.
And what I like about him too is that he ain't scared to disagree.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
10 toes.
With
that being said, Gary, go ahead and give me your final thoughts, okay?
Well, first, Grace, this was an awesome topic. I think that we definitely need to talk about this, again, where you're able to show the wonderful clips that you had, or I should say have, because I think people need to hear Dr. Crest. They need to hear her, right?
This was a doctor back in the days, Miss Bell, that she predicted what's going on right now with the emasculation of men. Her name is Dr. Frances Crest, if you want to check her out. I had good, clips, but we're already hitting the 2.5 hour mark.
Okay.
I try not to go so long because most people attention span is not that long. When I see podcasters going 4 or 5 hours, it just doesn't make sense.
But see, a lot of those kind of podcasts that go they're not really talking about anything constructive.
No.
Yeah, right? But over here, words matter.
Right. So we
matter.
Right. We have very constructive topics. So I guess my closing out with this is that I think that it's important that we have this. We had this conversation here. My concern is the optics, right? We're in a very visual world, and to raise, in raising our young black men, our young black children, optics and visuals are very important, right? So, and it's very influential. So we have to be very careful on what we put on TV, what we put on movies, what we put in magazine covers, right?
That's right.
Because it's very, so and we've come a long way because now we have people of color that are in positions to actually say something. And I think the disservice is that when they don't say something and let stuff like what we see happen, right? So I think that as we move forward, more people, clearly stuff like this is going to happen more. But as long as we keep speaking out, spreading the word, and let people know, like, this is a real problem, right? This is a real issue, because we all talk about the younger generation. Well, look what the hell you showing the younger generation, right?
Yeah.
So on that note, I'm Gary D. Thank you, Grace, again for having me. Thank you, Ms. Bell. You can see me Fridays on The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, hosted by Gary D. and Robin. We're on from 8 p.m. Eastern Time to 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay.
And you can catch me on on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. The Real Discussion.
And TikTok.
Okay.
You're on TikTok too.
And TikTok, yeah, I'm on TikTok.
And go ahead, Miss Cynthia, go ahead and final thoughts and let people know where we can find you.
Okay, Cynthia Bell. I'm on Instagram, Cynthia Writes One. I'm on Facebook. I'm on, of course, YouTube as Life Turns Podcast. And this was I came on. I don't have no lipstick or makeup, and I was like, oh, I just got to chime in. But thank you so much. And this was a great topic, and we need to do this again. We really need to do this again. So thank you all.
Absolutely. And look, you got on the first time. No technical difficulties.
I'm getting better, honey. I'm getting better.
I know that's right. I knew you would.
Yes.
And Grace says, thanks for having me, sis. Thanks, Auntie. Gary, great show. So my final thoughts is, look, ladies and gentlemen, like the last comment I said, this is a human issue. Men require respect and appreciation to feel loved. That's their love language. And women deserve to get respect and treated as such. And once we do that and we work on our positions and we come together to play the game, then it'll work out. But fighting and bickering and insulting each other, emasculating each other is not going to work, and it hasn't been working. And that's why a lot of us are lost in the sauce. And another thing that I want to add that a good friend always mentions to me, we got to start involving God more in our lives, in our communication.
Absolutely.
In our jobs, in our careers, in our dreams and goals, because nothing is possible with God and everything is possible with Him. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for embracing me. You can find Embrace the Grace on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, all of that. And of course, YouTube. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'm not going to tell you what next week's topic is, because, sometimes I don't even be knowing. It just comes to me. The spirit comes to me. Talk about this. I do have a list of shows, but I'm strategically lining things up. So again, thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate it. Ms. Bell, this was awesome. No technical difficulties, and we had good conversation. I didn't have technical difficulties because I clean my computer every Saturday now.
All right.
So, guys, have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. Out. All right.
Good
Bye-bye.
night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, hon. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for coming out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate your support. PA Texas, even though you talk your shit in here, I appreciate your presence. And Grace, much love to you, sis.